After humiliating themselves with Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, Rocksteady is planning on trying to win fans back with the announcement, or I should say, the announcement of a rumor that they are preparing to make a new Batman game. But is the damage already done? Hi everyone, my name is Jacob Berry. Welcome to the StudioJake vidcast, where I talk about all things pop culture. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post a new vidcast, and consider becoming a channel member. After disappointing thousands, hundreds of thousands of gamers with the release of Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, which is set in the Arkhamverse games, where Kevin Conroy, of course, voices Batman in Batman Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham City, and Batman Arkham Knight, Rocksteady is trying to win back Batman fans, or at least the rumor is they are going to try to win back Batman fans after the failure of Suicide Squad, as well as the disrespectful send-off they gave to Kevin Conroy. This is according to Bounding into Comics. After placing all their bets, whether voluntarily or at the behest of WB Games, on the potential success of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League and losing almost everything, Rocksteady Studios is reportedly attempting to dig themselves out of their Brainiac-sized hole with a new single-player Batman game. This update regarding the embattled studio's future was first brought to light by Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, who himself learned of the development while speaking to his apparent WB Games insiders regarding the division's behind-the-scenes struggles, as largely self-inflicted by its outgoing president David Haddad. Relaying what he learned about Rocksteady Studios in particular, Schreier explained that the potent of doom that kicked off its downfall was none other than Haddad himself, as he apparently played a large role in pushing the dev team to abandon their single-player Arkham Origins, no pun intended, in favor of a live service multiplayer future. As Schreier writes, Haddad fully believed that Suicide Squad could be a billion-dollar game and thus went all in on its marketing, even going so far as to pull a bevy of strings in order to get it live coverage on their fellow Warner Brothers Discovery-owned entity, CNN. However, working against Haddad's optimism was the game's ever-changing design scope and a previously reported culture of rigid perfectionism across Rocksteady Studios, both of which came together to produce the dead in less than a year live shooter mess we hardly knew. But an apparent stroke of luck for the dev team, rather than their failure resulting in them being reorganized, sold off, or completely shuttered, it seems Rocksteady is actually being given a chance to go back to basics. In closing out his report, Schreier notes that now Rocksteady is looking to return to Batman for a single-player game, but according to people familiar with the timeline, the new project is years away from landing. For those unfamiliar with the situation, Suicide Squad was the bomb of 2024. Following a development cycle that was rocked by delays, harassment allegations, and a full plot leak, the game released to outcry in February 2024 with frustrations towards its in-game economy and an always-online requirement being exacerbated by the subsequent discovery that its story would insultingly end with the Arkham universe Batman, in what would be the final recorded role of legendary Dark Knight voice actor Kevin Conroy, dead by Task Force X's hands. Condemned by reviewers as grindy and boring, Suicide Squad's woes only served to deepen not only when those who paid extra for early access were given zero compensation when their preview time was eaten into by emergency maintenance, but also when it was discovered that narrative consultancy firm Sweet Baby Inc. played a large role in crafting its narrative. Posting less than half the stream players' numbers of Marvel's Avengers, and in doing so stealing the crown of worst live service superhero game, the live service looter shooter would ultimately turn out to be anything but a billion-dollar game, with its sheer rejection by players resulting in a $200 million loss and a revenue drop of 41% of Warner Brothers games, as well as widespread layoffs and the premature end of its post-launch DLC fans. In terms of the Cape Crusaders' next outing, a Schreier's report makes no mention as to what players can expect from it, nor whether or not it will be set in the Arkham universe. One can only speculate what is being planned. The article then goes to talk about the studio behind Batman Arkham Origins making a sequel to that game in a VR, and talks about the numbers there. Head on over to Bounding Into Comics to read the rest of the article, and also check out Bounding Into Comics. They have a lot of great insight into what's going on in pop culture. I was one of the fans of the Batman Arkham games who refused to even purchase this game when I found out the humiliating end to Batman. Now, I knew that Batman might perish in a game called Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, but Batman is unique and needs to go out in a unique way. Instead, he gets lectured by Harley Quinn before she ultimately does him in a way that Batman never would to her, certainly. He's given her mercy lots of times, and now she refuses to give him some. I'm glad the game failed. I think it was a terrible idea, it was executed poorly, and it ruined the legacy of the Arkham universe. Now, what will they do now? Apparently, there's rumors that they had planned on doing Batman Beyond Arkham, where Terry McGinnis would take on the cape and cowl and become the new Batman. If I was them, Rocksteady, I would just pretend that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League doesn't exist. I would at some point maybe make it where, because Batman gets outed as Bruce Wayne at the end of Arkham Knight. I would just pitch an idea where they just do another Batman story where people know and he's just on the run as the Batman. After all, at the conclusion of the story, Wayne Manor collapses, right? And thus the Batcave and all of its contents will then get destroyed. So I would just do it where Bruce Wayne and the Batman family operate out of a different underground base. We know he has one on Arkham Island. We know that he has one beneath Wayne Enterprises. We make it where he has a setup like that, and that's how he goes about. And people just know he's Batman. They just know he's Bruce Wayne, and he fights whatever villain comes his way. That's how I would do it. But they're not going to listen to me. They're going to do whatever they want. Now, a Batman Beyond Arkham might be interesting if they were to actually put Terry McGinnis in the role. Now, I don't know who would voice Old Man Wayne since Kevin Conroy's tragic passing. Maybe they could get someone like Troy Baker, who has voiced both Batman and the Joker in the past, or someone like Anson Mount to voice him. And then he trains Terry McGinnis to be the new Batman, and it can still be set within the Arkhamverse. I think that would be really cool. I could see them pulling off something like that, but they won't get out of their own heads. Just because this one guy is gone, I'm just a little suspicious that it's not going to go any way, that it's not going to matter ultimately, because they still fired or chased away a lot of the other story writers and brought in companies like Sweet Baby Inc. If you're unfamiliar, Sweet Baby Inc. is this woke company that is all invested in DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, also known as Didn't Earn It. And they were pushing a lot of video game companies to put in woke content, uplifting female characters by bashing the male characters and whatnot. And that's what happened with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Harley Quinn is no longer attached to the Joker. She's now the Margot Robbie version, who was not the version in the Arkhamverse. So they need to get rid of all of them. They need to bring back the writers of the original Arkhamverse and build a new, better game. But I just doubt that they're going to do that. If you like that video, be sure to give it a like, share it out to all your friends, leave me a comment, and tell me what you think, and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, ring the little bell so you get notifications when I post a new vidcast, and consider becoming a channel member. If you would be so kind, head on over to my website, StudioJakeMedia.com, where I post reviews and articles all about pop culture topics, including anime, film, novels, video games, and so much more. And best of all, it's free and there are no ads. You just sign up through your email or in the WordPress app. If you want to support the work that I do, head on over to my locals community. The link is in the description of the video. You can sign up for a monthly subscription, or you can send my articles tips, and I post exclusive articles there just for the locals community. Also, I publish my short stories, so you're going to want to check those out. Speaking of stories, I have written and published 4 novels and more on the way. But first, check out Cacophony, A Tale of Faith and Fear. It is a supernatural thriller about angels battling demons over the souls of a small Texas town. You're not going to want to miss this one. If you're more into sword and sorcery, check out the Seven Royals series. I have book 1, All Good Things. Book 2 is Breaking the Stars. Book 3 is on its way. Book 3 is on its way, and I'll have an announcement about that very soon. It'll conclude this series about a group of your favorite fairy tale characters who have to battle a dark army for the protection of their lands. Last but not least is my fantasy romance novella, Blessed Child. It follows an elven princess who gets pregnant and discovers the baby is human. This sends the elven kingdom into chaos, and so her father, the king of the elves, hires a human knight to be her bodyguard. The princess and the knight form an unlikely friendship as they navigate the turmoil about them. It is about courage under fire. It is life affirming, and you're not going to miss this or these books. Go to Amazon.com, purchase this one or all four, and leave me a 5-star review. It really helps out small indie creators like myself. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.